5, 4, 3, 2, 1. CTS Podcast, episode 40. Big things. Oh, sorry. CTS
Wow.
Pop Culture Podcast.
Yep.
Episode 40. This is combined with the
So we have two podcasts.
CTF.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know if there's anybody that listens to this one that doesn't listen to the other one based on the fact we have 12 subscribers on you.
Okay, fair. So we have 100. This is our 100th video.
100th video, I think, give or take.
That kind of ruins the
Based
whole
on,
climactic.
it's 100 though.
Whatever.
It's 100.
So, anyway, this is CTS Pop Culture Podcast, episode 40. So, what's happened this last week that we should talk about?
Minions, Rise of Gru. Miss Marvel, new episode of Miss Marvel. I can't think of anything else. Just kidding. Stranger Things finale.
Oh, that's right. Stranger
That's the
Things
big
finale.
one.
Okay.
Let's start off lowest stakes to highest stakes.
What does that mean?
Like kind of smallest story to biggest story. We can ramp up.
Okay.
What do you think?
Fair enough.
Okay, we'll start with Stranger Things. Just kidding. Miss Marvel, you haven't watched any of it, right?
No.
I like it. I think it's good.
You like everything. So, when I hear that you like something, there's two ways for me to go about confirming it. I can either watch
You
it for
could watch
myself.
it.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Hold on. I can watch it for myself, or I can think to myself, Henry likes everything, so maybe I should just not include his opinion in my overall decision to watch a show.
So include other people's opinion who are 99% saying it's good. Weird shout.
I'm just kidding. But you do like everything. I mean, that's
not true.
pretty much where we're at. You
That's not
like
true.
just about
No,
everything.
we'll get into something I really hate in just a minute.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, no,
With
Miss
what?
Marvel.
With what?
Miss Marvel's good. We'll do. That's called a teaser, Jace. It's a little thing we like to do in the industry. It keeps people around. Keeps people around for a little bit longer.
Okay.
No,
go
but
on.
Miss Marvel's cool. It started to get like bigger stakes. Like it started out very like isolated. To kind of
Any
the
big
main character.
cameos?
See, that's the problem, dude. That's the problem. You're as bad as like Soups. All of a sudden you're just gonna be screaming
I'm just
on the podcast.
curious.
No, not yet. Not yet. Spoiler alert. No. It's good. It's fun. It's cool, and I think the characters are likable, like very likable.
Is it cheesy?
A little bit, but
Okay,
like intentionally. Like it doesn't feel like there's very much where it's like, hey, we're trying to be serious here, and it feels cheesy. Like it very much feels like we know what's going on here. Like we're making like over the top like superhero joke references. So
Sure.
it's good.
Sure.
It's cool. They just went to India, they filmed like on location in India,
Oh.
I think, which is cool. And for like a Marvel show,
Mumbai?
or like a show. In the show, it's Karachi. I don't know
Mhm.
where they filmed, like actually in India.
Mm.
Do you only know Mumbai in India? Is
Uh,
that why you said that?
No, I know
Not
a
to
lot
call
of,
you out.
I
or
know a lot of
anything.
different Indian cities.
Okay, let's name a few. So okay.
Whoa!
We can
What,
move
what
on.
am I on the spot here? Am I being interviewed?
This is India. Jace Names India Trivia Night Special 100th episode. No, but yeah, no. So I like it. Okay, on to something I absolutely hate. Minions: Rise of Gru. The
Have you seen it? Oh, you hate the reaction, the meme.
yes, the
So-
meme.
I hate to interrupt you.
No, you don't.
I don't.
No,
But-
you don't.
Here's my thoughts. It's not only is it not funny, but there's a difference between like me and you finding something not funny just because it's not our sense of humor
Yeah.
and like something that's cringe. And the problem is that this is legitimately cringe because it's all these like 14 and 15-year-olds, which is fine. Okay, fine. You're 14 and 15
I also know
years old.
people significantly, like I've seen videos of people significantly older than that doing it.
People I know.
No, I mean like videos, like on
Oh,
TikTok,
okay.
like college age kids.
Yeah, and then all these I got on the side of TikTok where it's basically like anti this trend and it's
Yeah.
just these messes and people partying and the cops being called. It's like, dude, if I'm working at that movie
People
theater,
are so, dude.
I'm
you're
just
making,
like 15 years old making $7.25 an hour. I just see 400 people in suits come in. Oh,
and then like I'm seeing like popcorn getting thrown all over, like
yeah.
drinks spilled and stuff.
Like, what if I brought
It's
my little brother?
disrespectful. Well,
Yeah.
it's disrespectful.
What if I
Like,
brought my little brother to go have a fun movie night or go watch a movie?
this
And it's just
movie
like we
for
can't even enjoy it.
4-year-olds? What?
Yes.
Yeah, no. I also hate like the Minions franchise. I think it's just the lowest brow, like the comedy. is-
Really? I liked the first Despicable
So
Me.
the first Despicable Me, fine, is good, all right. Anything other than that, is awful.
It went downhill.
Especially like the Minions, like right, because this is the second Minions movie.
Well, and
it's just-
especially once you learn, I'm not.
It's like
I can't.
it's
make that
just
joke
a
on.
bad. It's a bad like they're just not good. They're not funny. The jokes are just like it's like potty humor, which is like
banana.
fine, yeah, like
banana.
fine for like little kids, but to be like where people are like, I'm actually excited, and I don't know, and I get like I'm more than anybody like I love to commit to a bit. So if the bit's like, oh, we're gonna go see like the Minions in suits, like funny, whatever, but it's the whole thing where it's like I mean you talked about the video where the cops get called. The one I saw where they're like doing like a mosh pit in the front of the theater, and like so I show up with my like age appropriate like little brother to go watch it, like you were saying, and all of a sudden there's like 100 kids like jumping around in the front of the theater screaming and stuff, like making the theater messy, and it's just not that funny. I just don't think it's funny at all.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
At least
pal.
pick like a good movie to be like ultra passionate about, because it's like,
Or you go see Dune in suits or Avatar.
yeah, but it's like
It made a bunch of money.
they
though.
made a bunch.
Oh my
And
gosh!
it's 100, and so keep in mind though, the first Despicable Me I think made like $1 billion.
Yeah.
Or like the first Minions movie I
super
think
big,
made $1 billion.
super big franchise.
So it's like, is that just because like people like Despicable Me franchise, or did this trend have any impact on it?
No, it didn't. It didn't have any impact. It was just a bunch of families. Like, the highlight that we see is all these kids in suits, but that is not nearly
Granted, remember like Morbius?
Yeah.
How kind of like everyone was like, oh, we're gonna go see like Morbius, whatever. Did you see any videos of people in theaters at Morbius?
No.
Not a single one.
No.
This one, I've seen legit like hundreds of videos of people going to the theater.
Yeah, no one went to see
What's funny,
Morbius.
and I saw the other thing where people were like, dude, like marketing executives at these companies have to be like, how do, like, it doesn't make any sense, because Morbius, like, I mean,
Sony re-released it.
they re-released it. This was supposed to be for Morbius, and I don't know. It can't be that like, oh, one's a good movie, one's not, because I refuse to believe the Minions: Rise of Gru is a good movie, and like, it doesn't make sense. Like, how do you tap into that kind of meme culture? And I don't think there's any way to do it. I don't think there's any way.
Zero way to calculate
because
it.
if you try, never gonna happen. So either it's like I wonder though if it was like organically started, this whole thing,
Yeah, I wonder.
or if it was some like marketing firm that like has
Probably.
like thousands
Can
of
you
TikTok
imagine?
accounts. I bet it is.
Yeah, they just flooded TikTok.
Because
with-
I mean, even then, there was like a Minions TikTok account that I'd see comment on any video that had to do with it. But yeah, dude, I was like getting like I saw one where somebody brought in like a garbage can with like 200 pounds of bananas.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And just like threw them all over the theater.
Fun.
What? It's so annoying.
So, shoot. Okay, you were talking about before the garbage can. What did you say?
Marketing executives like not being able to tap into that. Maybe something about that. Like,
I'm at a loss. Anyways, yeah, Minions, super not funny. I'll probably go see it at some point with my little brother, but we'll see. Any other movies? Oh, I'll tell you about a movie I just watched. Really, really good. The Black Phone.
Mm-hmm.
It has like a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Probably the best horror movie I've seen this year.
What other horror movies have you seen this year? Like legit, not trying to like dunk on you and be like, oh, you've only seen one, but I just like don't know
I see quite a bit. I mean, I certainly couldn't tell you, but I watch a lot of scary movies. Pretty much anytime there's a big. I saw one was Antlers. I mean, it's so long ago. I don't remember any of the movies I see.
No, that's cool. I've heard because it's Ethan Hawke, right? Is the main villain, bad guy.
Yeah, the guy that plays it. It's
Arthur
the guy that
Harrow
plays
in Moon Knight.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He's good, dude. He's freaking
cool.
horrifying.
That's cool.
No, but there was something else I was going to say. The problem was I was worried. I'm just at a loss. I mean, maybe we just move on to Stranger Things.
What? Yeah. What other? Did anything else kind of? Thor is this week.
When?
We need to get tickets.
When is it?
You can probably get tickets Wednesday.
I know, but when is the showing? First showing?
I don't know.
Thursday?
I don't know. Well, that's. I mean, you can probably get tickets for a showing on Wednesday.
Okay, fair enough.
We need to do.
We'll
that.
go this week. We'll go see it. I'm sure it's gonna
Talk
be
about it. I've heard good things about it. Like people in general, like really like it. So
It seems like Taika can't really miss right now.
He's-
Seems like he's putting in a shift.
he's
as far
doing
as
very
directing
well.
Movies goes.
While we're on the subject of Taika, before we move on to Stranger Things, a little bit of scary news with his Star Wars project, where they were like, he like was asked about it, and he's like, "Yeah, we haven't started working on it
Yeah,
yet
I
at
saw
all,"
that.
and it's like supposed to come out like in a year, a little over a year. I think it was like Christmas 2023. A little makes me a little nervous. Just that I've seen so many of these Star Wars movies that like go into pre-production or like have a director attached that I'm like really excited about. I mean, like the Game of Thrones guys were supposed to do a Star Wars. Like, I mean, even people hate The Last Jedi, but even like Rian Johnson, like I think he could do a good job if he got like complete control over a Star Wars trilogy. He was supposed to get that. That's kind of in like whatever. Kevin Feige was supposed to get a movie. Patty Jenkins, the Wonder Woman lady, supposed to get a movie, and all of them have kind of like there's like creative differences or like issues with production, and it's just I don't know.
Which is good. It's good, right? If it's good that there's creative differences because Disney is seeing the success of like The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan and these Star Wars shows, and they're saying this is the direction that we want to take the films. And I know that you really like the sequels, but they are deliberately staying away from the sequels, and they're trying to build this different set of characters and this unique set of characters that more closely ties into the prequels and the original trilogy.
But I think here's the problem with the creative differences is it's the creative differences where the directors want to do something unique and different and out there in their own vision. And then like the studio executives are like, hey, that's too much. We're just going to get somebody in that will do what we tell them to do.
Well,
that's where
keep
the
in mind
problem
the
is.
studio executives, I mean, it's
No, but okay. So all of the ones though we were talking about before was like pre Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni.
okay.
So this was like exclusively Kathleen Kennedy and like Pablo Hidalgo, like those people, where it was like, man, there were some like really cool directors attached to these. Like I think the original, like Rogue One ended up being a good movie. But I think the original Rogue One director like got like almost done with it, and then they were like, oh no, we have problems with this. Like you're gone. We're bringing in new directors.
It did turn out good. Rogue One was a good movie.
Yeah. We've got Andor coming up that should play into that a little bit. So I heard we were talking about last week before we move on to Stranger Things. We were talking about last week that I think we said something about 5 seasons, but it's not going to be 5 seasons. I think some more stuff came out in the last week that it's going to be 2 seasons. And the first season will take place over the course of a year and will be 12 episodes. And then the next season will take place over the course of 4 years, 12 episodes, 4 3-episode arcs leading directly into Rogue One. Is kind of the
So it's gonna be movies, basically.
a little bit.
4
yeah.
3-episode arc. 4.
Yeah,
three
three
episode arcs, which is
so
basically
a little like feels a little kind of
bizarre.
I don't know, bizarre. I was gonna liken it to kind of season 7 of the Clone Wars, right, where you got like the Bad Batch arc, you got the like kind of that stuff. So I don't know, it'll be interesting. It comes out in August, the first season, pretty soon. We're like a month away.
Yeah,
A little more than
I'm
a
excited for the politics aspect of it. We talked about that last week, though. I do think that I saw a criticism of, and granted, I shouldn't say a criticism. It was multiple like criticisms just on my TikTok feed, which should not be taken as anything more than a few posts on my TikTok feed. But essentially, they were saying, it's frustrating that any criticism you give Marvel is like, oh, you're a fake, or Marvel. Yeah, going back to Marvel. Any criticism you give Marvel over the shows that they've released not being as good as you thought they would be is, you're called a fake fan, but look at what Amazon is doing with The Boys, or look at what, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing with Star Wars and The Mandalorian. And I kind of see where they're coming from as far as, some of these shows certainly aren't everyone's cup of tea. But the problem that I think, and the reason that I take issue with people complaining about the content that's being released, is it's like, even if you don't like it, don't watch it, because there's so much content coming out that you don't have to like all of it. Me, I have not liked all of the Disney Marvel content that has come out. For example, I didn't particularly care for Hawkeye, but I've never found him a very interesting character. I didn't find the new girl, what's her name?
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop to be a particularly interesting character. I didn't particularly care for Black Widow. But on that same note, Loki was amazing. Moon Knight, amazing. What else?
Shang-Chi,
amazing. Yeah. It's like, you don't have to like all of the content that's coming out, because there's so much. I would understand. It'd be a lot different if there was like one series a year.
It was like how the movies used to be.
Yeah,
you'd get
it was
like
one series
or 2 Marvel
or one
movies,
movie a year, and there was a continual
like 4 years of bad movies.
And you're just like, okay, I don't, there's all these other companies making such good movies, but they're making so much content that it's like, okay, if you don't like it, watch something else.
Well, and I think I saw the same post where it was like, oh, The Boys, like Stranger Things, like
that's what it was. The other one was Stranger Things.
But also, like, what an awful like way to compare it. Like, how many horrendous shows do they have on Netflix?
So many.
Have like
so many.
Like Stranger Things is like the one good one. Like,
they do have some other really really good shows on Netflix.
One of the huge ones.
Yeah,
that is like,
that's
it's
their money maker. One of their money makers.
And like Amazon has just a bunch of ridiculously awful content.
The Boys and Invincible are pretty much their first hits, and they're both superheroes.
Yeah,
so it's
like clearly, it's just, that's a weird one to me, where I was like, okay, let me put up like Kissing Booth 3 and go, how come Netflix can't make anything good when like Marvel's putting out Shang-Chi and whatever? It's just, I don't know. It's it's that one. I saw that one and I was like, this feels like not a fair comparison, where we take the absolute best of.
Well, it's exactly, and it's not only that, but it's like, maybe it's just that Stranger Things and The Boys are just different, and maybe you just want something different, or you like these because they're different than Marvel, and maybe you just were looking for something different than Marvel, or you just really like this category of show.
Also, yeah, that's the point of them doing the shows on like Disney Plus, is they don't all have to be like right down the mainstream. They don't have to be everybody's cup of tea, because we're making, okay, you don't like this one? Let's do this one. Let's do this one.
Right. It's just an abundance of content.
So it's, I don't know, that bugs me a little bit when people, and I don't know. I think it's become so popular, like, to just like hate on stuff. Like, it's the cool thing to just be like, I hate everything. Everything's bad. That I have a hard time looking at some of those and just not being like, right? Because the popular thing is to be like, Marvel's bad, everything else is good.
Well,
Like
and
anything else is good.
It's funny because Disney kind of shot themselves in the foot with how good The Mandalorian was, because I think it set everyone's expectations through the roof, not only for Star Wars shows. I think it set everyone's expectations through the roof for all Disney shows, because not everywhere I look, but a lot of places I look, a lot of these comparisons, even for Marvel, get drawn back to The Mandalorian, which, to be fair, is probably some of the best Star Wars content we've gotten. But on that same note, it's like, for me, for example, I do prefer The Mandalorian over most of the Marvel stuff that we've gotten, but that's just because I like Star Wars more.
Well,
I'm just more of a
also-
Star Wars fan.
Also, you get this weird thing where in like Star Wars, you have a little bit more leeway to do like new characters, right? Because in Marvel, you kind of have to pull from the comics. Like at the very least, like your main character is probably going to be a comic character. Like they haven't invented any
Right.
brand new things, and I don't know. And it's this weird like catch-22 where you see shows like Obi-Wan and the Book of Boba Fett, where it's like, that returning character is not who I expected them to be. I don't like it. And then you get shows where you didn't like our take on that returning character wasn't exactly how you like it. So let's give you a new character that you don't have any expectations for. Like something like, like Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, where there's like, it's not very well known, or even, the Bad Batch is a little smaller scale, like the Omega character in Bad Batch, where people are like,
And they poop on her anyway.
we hate this new character. Like, what? This doesn't make sense. Like, it's like, why is this character like that? And so they want exactly their vision of original characters, and you can't do a new character because it's like, oh, well, why isn't Luke there? Why isn't Obi-Wan there? Why isn't...
Well, and it's not only that. Even if you look at like more broadly, how are you going to compare The Boys, which is completely different from Stranger Things, which is completely different from Marvel, which is completely different than from Star Wars? It's like you really can't compare two complete. How are you going to compare The Boys to like Hawkeye? It's like a completely different intended audience. Hawkeye was made for, the more family-oriented Disney Plus show. The Boys is made for 25 to 35-year-old men, and it's violently graphic, and then Hawkeye is not. It's like you can't possibly compare the writing or the popularity of these shows or your interpretation of the characters and say, okay, I don't think Marvel's doing a good of a job. It's like I don't know.
Also, I will take the average quality of all the Marvel Star Wars TV shows against any 10 program spread from Netflix. Like if you take 10 random shows or movies off of Netflix or Amazon,
for sure,
I guarantee the quality is better.
Oh, guaranteed. That's what I'm saying, right? Because
Yeah.
Stranger Things, you have maybe, I don't know. I've seen some. To be fair, I have seen some bangers on Netflix: Midnight Mass, Ozark, Stranger Things. But it's like there's literally 3 or 4.
But there's they put out so much, and Netflix is a crazy one because they don't really market stuff very well. Like when new stuff's coming out, we know how much stuff new stuff comes out on Netflix, and it's even more than that. It's more than you think. There's more shows, there's more movies coming out all the time. And so, I don't know, I have a problem where everything with all the Disney, Marvel, Star Wars shows just gets so ridiculously scrutinized.
Yeah.
Where it's a streaming service,
They're held to a higher bar. Disney is.
much higher bar. And okay, what if so Netflix and Amazon Prime put out 1 or 2 good shows a year. So I think pretty much everyone agrees that almost everybody can pick 2 of the things that have come out on Disney Plus that they like, besides very few that wouldn't be happy with anything.
Right.
So yeah, no, that's a weird one.
Should we talk about Stranger
Let's
Things?
talk about Stranger Things.
So, what'd you think the last 2 episodes?
I liked it. They were long. That was
so the 2.5
very long.
hour episode. I was like, ooh, this is getting long. And I think I've talked about this before on the podcast. I think after 2 hours, my attention span reduces from like 80% to like
You're like a little child.
60%.
A little baby.
I don't have the attention span for super long stuff.
Mhm.
So, for example, Dune, which was I think 3 hours long
or something like that.
at the end I was like, whew, this is getting there. I felt like that through parts of the last episode. I did see a criticism that I sort of related to. Is like, the last episode almost felt like it was setting up season 5 more than it was finishing up season 4. And I guess I could see that, but we still got a lot of really important stuff that happened in that last episode. I wanted to get your take on this before we start actually talking about the episode. So it's pretty reasonable to assume Will's gay, right? I mean, there's all of these context clues. There's all of these things happening.
Well, and like the actor like basically said it.
Dude, people are still like online that like don't get any of the context clues or don't believe it. They think that he likes Elle. Isn't that insane?
I haven't seen that. I've seen
really?
I've seen the opposite side where people are mad that like they were mad at Mike for being like, I love you, Elle, like expressing his feelings about Elle because they were like Will clearly has feelings for you, like which is weird.
I saw people that and I saw people that were mad that like he didn't explicitly say it, but like, guys, it's the 1980s.
Also,
no one would like him if he was gay. And it's just how it is.
And like on a broader context, like I think this is something we've complained about like like criticism of shows and stuff, where it's like people want everything spoon-fed to them.
Yeah.
Like they want it just on a platter. Like here's exactly what you're expecting. So that was funny. The reaction. And even, I mean, Stranger Things, like, objectively, I remember when season 1 came out, nobody complained. There are things that, like, aren't great about the first season of Stranger Things, like, problems with the first season of Stranger Things. But everyone was like, hey, this is a good show. Like, let's, like, focus on the positives of it, which is, like, even, I mean, when did that come out? 2016, you think?
Ooh, I think it was even, I want to say it was further back than that. I want to say that I was 14 years old when that came out.
Yeah, check it out. Look it up. But it's a different, and kind of going back to our previous discussion, it's a kind of a different
No,
way.
you were right. 2016.
Yeah.
2016.
I
So
knew
I
I
was
was
I was
right.
15 years old.
A different, like, how stuff gets criticized now is different than how it used to get, like, criticized.
What
and
changed?
Consumed. I think we got so much good stuff that people are like, and like kind of the online like Twitter discourse, TikTok discourse, where it's like, hey, you go viral if you have an unpopular opinion. That it was like, well, now like it's almost like come full circle where now everyone's like, hey, like the unpopular opinion is that like it originally was, hey, I don't like this.
And because that gets popular, someone adopts that idea, or they start thinking about it, or they start seeing it, and they.
No, it's like I don't like it, and like it's almost did you ever watch those like Cinema Sins YouTube videos?
No.
Where they do you know what, have you like seen that?
Maybe
at all?
if you explain it.
Just like where they go through and they like kind of go through a movie and like ding it for like dumb, like they like nitpick the movie.
Oh,
They're like,
I've probably just browsing YouTube have seen stuff like that.
But it's stuff like that where it's just like, and they'll do it for like they do it for a ton of movies, like not just bad movies, they do it for like great movies and stuff too. And it's dumb criticism like that where like the CinemaSins, they're like, okay, objectively this is a good movie, but we're still gonna like ding it for these little nitpick things, where now people are like, hey, we're gonna ding it for these nitpick things, and that means it's a bad movie. That means it's a bad show. So I don't know, because I've seen people complaining, and I think there's definitely valid. Like I had some weird, like there was that weird time skip at the end.
Time skip?
Like right at the end of the episode where it was like 2 days later.
Yeah.
And everything kind of resolved. Like they got out of the upside down. Like they didn't really deal with kind of a lot of the immediate impacts of stuff. Where I was like, and a little into that kind of where you were saying it was like setting up season 5 more than it was finishing it off.
Yeah.
Where it was like, I would have been pretty happy with like not knowing where season 5 was going, or at the very least, if you were just like, if Will was just like, Vecna's still alive, he's still out there, and that's all we got, and we just ended with like, oh, like getting him out, like I saw somebody, and I'm very hesitant when people are like, oh, it should have been this way, and like loosely describe something, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool. Like, I hate being like, oh yeah, they should have done that, because you're not the director. You don't
There's a reason
have
fans don't write shows.
Exactly, right? There's very, relative to the number of fans of stuff, there's very few like TV show movie writers, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
But I saw one where it was like the moment where what's his name?
Hopper.
No,
Mike,
Steve.
Will,
Steve. Like, Steve has to pull Dustin off of Eddie's body.
Yeah.
Like, when he's just distraught, where like Eddie's dead.
We missed that.
It's like, we don't see that. We just hop to 2 days later, and they're all like, not fine, but like kind of fine.
Yeah.
Like, they all, like, for how, like, Nancy and Jonathan are all happy, and they're like, I don't know. So there was some of that stuff that I'm like, I felt like we kind of missed out on it. But overall, I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. It was a cool ending of a season.
Yeah, I liked it too. Yeah, I did think it almost felt those last few scenes. I was like, okay, I would have preferred to, or can you imagine if we just saw, basically all of them distraught after what happened? We see, Steve lifting Dustin off the body, and basically all the kids just sitting around the hospital table around Max, and they're
Like,
just all distraught.
Yeah,
That's a good way to go into season 5.
Right, because this is, I mean, it's like, there's like kind of you like rising action, like exposition, rising action, climax, then kind of falling action, right, is kind of the formula for stories in general. This one was weird. It was like, it went up, you like had the climax, then you like came down, and then like almost like started a new rising action, which like can work, but also I feel like it's more satisfying, and I'd be totally happy to wait until for a year or two to see the next season to be like, I mean, there's the scene at the end where like, oh, like they see the storm or whatever,
Yeah.
where I'm like, I know there's a season 5, so I know something's coming back. Like, I don't need you to
So you don't need to
explicitly,
spoon-feed me.
yeah,
Yes.
don't spoon feed me. And granted, we kind of were just asking for them to like fill in that gap, but I feel like for the emotional arcs, like that's where you kind of want to end it, as opposed to 2 days later they're fine, fill in the gaps there.
Yeah, and it's weird because they make mention of, they say Elle's never lost before. And then they almost build it like they lost, and then they kind of won because Max lives, and then Hopper gets reunited with Elle, and Mike gets to be around Elle, and Hopper and Jonathan and Nancy are like joking with each other. So it's like, Elle has never lost before. It's like, well, yeah, have her lose this, have everyone lose.
So I do think I saw this, and I actually didn't catch this when I watched the episode the first time, that when she like spins the bottle, and then she like goes in and like is like in the black area and is like, Max, whatever, that like Max's body is still alive, but she's like not there, like her consciousness, like her, like she's like brain dead.
What do you mean?
Like Max,
oh, she can't find her because she's going inside of her head.
Yes, and she's not there, which is like kind of a crazy place, but also like she's gonna come back. Yeah. Right? Like, or else you just kill her.
So the Duffer Brothers said when they were pitching season 5 to the Netflix heads, that the Netflix board members all cried when they were pitching season 5, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird one because like you have an ending, so you don't have to deal with the repercussions of like people dying, really, which is like a little lazy. That I can just like I could kill Hopper and be like, oh, like he's dead and people are sad, or like kill, I don't know. It'd be interesting if they killed Elle.
And see, I know, and I'm someone that I think I've gotten so used to people winning that it's nice to see like people losing, like the protagonist. I actually like every once in a while to just see a show or a movie where it's like, wow, they actually lost.
Well, and I don't want. I mean, right? It's like the Empire Strikes Back, right? We don't get a lot of those where, hey, like Empire Strikes Back, the good guys lose.
Or Infinity War, right?
Infinity
Imagine,
War.
dude. Do you remember how you felt walking out of that theater after Infinity
Where
War?
it was just
You were just like,
like
what?
you just
the-
saw Thanos.
What was that?
Yeah, like Thanos will return.
Yeah.
Whoa. Especially in shows. I mean, like, because shows used to be like episodic, right? Where each episode would have a whole story.
Yeah.
But now with these streaming shows, like the Duffer Brothers, maybe they didn't from season 1 know exactly where it was going. Like, what, we're like 6 years later. Like by the end, it'll probably be like 7 or 8 years later. But like they kind of had an idea. Like I'm sure at season 3, like by the time they were doing season 3, they kind of knew where they wanted to take it.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, like write it like so that it's like a complete story like that. Like because I mean, how good would that be if they like totally lost in like, it's like there's no way to come back from this. Like, how do they come back with this? So, yeah, no, it'll be interesting. I liked it.
I saw a fan theory real quick of, do you remember that one girl in that one episode of season 3 of Stranger Things where it was another number girl? She was a number.
Like 8 that everyone hated.
Yeah, the episode everyone hated. So I thought it was decanonized. Like I thought she was just straight up taken out, but I saw a fan theory that she's coming back this next season.
I saw a theory that Eddie was 10. Like Eddie was one of the kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me tell you this theory. I think Will's connection to all of this stuff is going to be really built on in the next season.
Like really important.
I think that we haven't really seen how him getting essentially possessed and then exorcised of this darkness affects things, but I think they teased it, and I think Will is going to either turn bad and like kill people.
Imagine he
kill
joins
someone.
He joins Vecna.
Yeah,
and kills Elle,
kills
and
someone
that's it.
next season, like gets possessed and then just kills someone, or like kind of like Billy. Or I could see him getting sort of like Elle's powers, not her powers, but different powers,
Like powers
and doing
That'd
stuff
be cool.
with it.
Yeah. It'll be. I wonder how long it'll take them to make it, because this.
So
one
they
was
said it was going to
weird.
be shorter. They said it was going to be, the wait was not going to be as long for the next
Because
season.
this one was weird because like the whole COVID thing. and
Yeah, it was like 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which like was not the intention. I think it was supposed to come out in 2020 or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe, but yeah, no. I'm excited for. I'm excited to see how it ends. It's cool. It feels like we've had a lot of shows kind of not. We've had a lot of shows starting lately. We haven't seen a lot of like multi-season stories that we've followed these. It almost feels a little bit like Harry Potter, like kind of the Harry Potter movies where you like see these people grow up. I mean, remember how young like Finn Wolfhard and like
Oof,
all
that
those
was cra-
people
Imagine how
look-
young we were. We were 15.
Well, we were when that first season came out. I mean, we're like a little older than those kids.
Yeah.
Like we're like, I think Sadie Sink is like our age.
Yeah, the redhead is Sadie Sink. Right?
Yeah.
She's older than us. She's 22, I think.
Really?
Yeah, so I think she's older than me.
Which
and
is
Finn
weird.
is our age. Will is, or Noah Schnapp is 17. Millie Bobby Brown's, I think, 18.
Yeah.
Nancy is
She's way older than
way
us. She's
older
like
than us.
25 or something.
Steve. What's his name?
Joe Keery.
He's 40.
No,
No,
he's-
30. 30. I'm sorry. He's 30. Can
He's 40. Is he really?
you imagine? He's 30 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, it'll be cool to see kind of the ending, the like natural conclusion, especially that it's like an original story. I've heard, we can kind of wrap up the Stranger Things talk on this. I've heard people worried that it's going to be like the whole thing was a D&D game.
Oh, that would
Like
be
the last
disgusting.
scene, is it like
That would
pans-
be disgusting.
pans out to a D&D game and like Mike's reading and they're like back in the like the little kids.
That'd be disgusting.
Could you imagine?
That'd be an awful ending.
That'd be funny. I hate that that's like such a like the like it was all a dream. Like that kind of trope was like
Yeah.
so overdone. Because if it wasn't so overdone,
There'd be some crazy
there'd
moments.
be some just insane moments where it's like you're just like, how much would you? Because if we didn't hate that trope, how crazy of an ending would that be for Stranger? Like this, like 10-year or like.
I mean, some people's whole lives. I mean, this show has been, by the time the next season comes out, we'll have been watching this show for 50% of our lives, pretty much, right?
Yeah. So that would be so funny if they just, it was all a dream. And they're like all there, and Elle's like one of their friends, like was the new friend in the group, and it would be wild. And then they like are like leaving out the door, and then you just see some like red lightning in the background. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Freak out. Okay. Want to do some trivia to
Yeah,
close it off?
because you got so rolled last time. I just destroyed you. And you were molding about it. So I'm going to do it again.
I'm going to win. Okay. I'll ask you questions first this time. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Who used to be an expediter for the Bounty Hunters Guild? A. Grief Karga. B. The Mandalorian. C. Moff Gideon.
An expediter?
Expediter. EXPEDITOR.
Say it one more time. Sorry.
Who used to be an expediter for the Bounty Hunters Guild? A. Grief Karga. B. The Mandalorian. C. Moff Gideon.
So what does expediter mean?
I'm going to be honest, I don't know.
Good. I'm just going to go with the Mandalorian.
It's A. Grief Karga.
Of course it is, because, okay, whatever.
Okay. This one's dumb. What allows Ahsoka Tano to jump so high? A. Practice. B. The Force. C. Special boots.
I'm going to go with special boots.
Oh, you're dumb. It's the Force. Okay, so that's 1 of 2 on there. Ooh, man. Okay, what color is the child's robe? A. Black. B. White. C. Beige.
Beige.
Yep. True or false? Grief Karga sustained an injury to his chest during his brawl with Mando. When do they fight? I don't remember when they fight.
It's true. It's true.
It's true. Okay, 3 of 4.
Okay.
Oh no, I don't like that reaction.
This one's pretty.
'Kay.
This one's pretty brutal.
Okay.
Not this question, but your
Right.
questions in general. Where is the Bounty Hunters Guild based? Tatooine, Navarro, or Hoth?
Tatooine.
Yes. No. Navarro.
Really?
I thought it
based
was
on
Tatooine.
Navarro?
I thought it was Tatooine.
This random planet that we've been. Wow.
Okay.
Well, I got to go perfect to tie it up, and then we can do one more card to. break
What
the tie.
drink is made on Sorgon with krill? A. Spotchka, B. Krill tea, or C. Sorgon special?
Spotchka.
Correct. What color is the Mandalorian armorer's helmet? Black, silver, or gold?
Ooh, this is a tricky one.
Yeah, it is.
Black, silver. Is it gold?
It is gold. Good job.
Ugh.
How does Moff Gideon escape his crashed TIE fighter? Climbs out the window, cuts his way out with the Darksaber, or through the escape hatch?
Cuts his way out because that
Good
was the
job.
reveal.
We tied.
Okay.
Should we do one more each? Because we
Let's do one
tied. Just
more
a
each.
tiebreaker
Okay,
round.
just a tie
Just a
break.
cheeky one.
Okay.
I'll go first this time. What does the child swallow on planet Sorgon? A spider, a snake, or a frog?
Ooh. Planet Sorgon. Which one's Sorgon?
I don't remember.
Because
Honestly.
because I'm trying to think. Is this? Let's see if I can get a date on this. Because are these pre? Feels like we get a lot of season 1 questions.
We do. Yeah.
I'm gonna say frog.
Good job. What species is Berg? Powan, Deveronian, or Chagrian?
Berg?
Yeah, Berg.
Ooh. Read me the answers again. Read me the
'Kay.
answers again.
What species is Berg? Powan, Deveronian, or Chagrian?
One more time.
Powan, Deveronian, or Chagrian?
Deveronian.
Good job. That's
wow,
impressive.
that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
I vaguely okay. What power does the child possess? A. Invisibility. B. Super speed. C. The Force.
the Force.
What humanoid species is Queel? A. Togruta. B. Ugnaught. C. Jawa.
He's Ugnaught, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call it a
We'll
tie
call
this
it a
time
tie
around.
That time.
All right,
Okay.
should we wrap this one up?
Wrap it
CTS
up. I can't get
podcast
there.
episode
No,
40.
no.
Henry can't get there in time because he's slow and bad, and I'm better at trivia and smarter and more awesome and stronger.